Coming up, TTM appoints new coach, Bafana Bafana eye Frenchman for top job, Gavin Hunt hopes on the top job, our Idiski special guest says he's moved to Gauteng, and Percy Tau live in Brighton. Welcome back to Afrik Football. We drop 2 weekly PSL transfer and news videos. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified when we drop the new video. Let's get started. And now some comments on the Bafana Bafana coaching job by Idiski TV's Nkululeko. Link to his page will be in the description below. Remember to subscribe and support independent content creators.
Yeah, South Africa are in an interesting position when it comes to their next coaching appointment, largely because whoever they want at the moment, they have to think about the idea that in 6 months' time, they may have to dismiss him. Because, of course, that's the nature of football. You fail to qualify, then you have to be dismissed for the most part. There are very few associations that are patient enough that they give you a tenure and continue with your tenure after you fail to qualify. I say that with certainty because we are playing qualifiers. By the end of October, we will know that we haven't qualified. Most likely we won't because we're in a group with Ghana, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe. We're not better than Ghana. We probably are not better than Zimbabwe as well. And Ethiopia, even if we argue that we are better than them, they are in the African Cup of Nations and we are not. So we have to have that level of understanding about ourselves, who we are in the grand scheme of things in African football. Back to the point, the questions that you guys asked me is whether or not Carlos Queiroz and even Harve Renard are going to be the coaches of Bafana Bafana. Looking at the dynamics, it's going to be very difficult to see them being part of the squad. According to what I've seen, and what I've read, Harve Renard, I think, is occupied somewhere. He is in a team, is coaching either Saudi Arabia. I may be mixing up the two of them, Carlos Queiroz and Harve Renard, but one of them is tied up in a contract. So you may have to, number one, pay him out, and that's going to cost you maybe $5 million US, which is money that you do not have. So that takes one of them out of the equation. And secondly, even if you employ either of them, whoever is available, in 6 months' time, they are not going to survive the group. Therefore, you may have to have awkward conversations with them and fire them ultimately. So that's another challenge, because if you fire them, having been paying them $50,000 US or $80,000 US, which is around 1.5 million rands or 1 million rands, you're going to have a problem because you're going to have to pay them a settlement amount. No coach is going to sign a contract of less than a year. So those guys will be on 2-year contracts. And in 6 months' time, you may have to fire them. They will be left with 1 year, 6 months remaining on their contracts. So that's another conversation to be had, and the consideration as well from the association to say, look, we can't hire these guys because we may have to fire them. My opinion actually is that South Africa will probably have a caretaker coach to coach Bafana Bafana. And that's the reality of it, that Bafana Bafana will be coached by a caretaker coach, whether we like that or not, because we need someone to usher us through the qualifiers. If we have a permanent coach, if they sign and take that job, they will take it on the condition that they are not required to qualify. They will play the qualifiers to the best of their abilities, but it's not a must that they do qualify because they are in a very difficult group. And we failed to qualify in a group that had Sudan and Sao Tome and Principe with Ghana, so it's going to be very difficult. And remember, in the qualification, you qualify as number 1 to your group and play other number 1 to qualify ultimately, because we need 5 countries to qualify for the Qatar World Cup. So it's going to be very, very difficult for the next employment. In terms of the coaching options here at home, Benni Mccarthy has been mentioned. There's a lot of fans of his, particularly in the media. Every time there's a job, if Benni Mccarthy does not have a job, they will mention his name very quickly. It happened when Chiefs were looking for a coach. It happened when Amazulu were looking for it. There's a lot of people that punt Benni McCarthy's name, and behind the scenes they're his friends, and they won't tell you that. In terms of his pedigree as a coach, not really. He's not above the other coaches waiting in line for Bafana Bafana. He's doing well with Amazulu at the moment. I think it's been relatively 6 months or even less than that, slightly. The other option that Safa could go for, Peter Mosimane, they probably won't get, just to get that out of the way. The reason being that they're going to have to pay a settlement amount for him, and that settlement amount is paid in US dollars. You may have to pay $3 million US or 1.5 million US, and that's essentially a lot of money in South African rands, 20 million rands, to pay him out of his current contract. And then you may have to have an awkward conversation with him at the end of October when he has failed to qualify, because no coach is going to qualify Bafana Bafana from this group unless a miracle happens. They are in a group where the other three contestants or participants have qualified for the AFCON except for them. So you have to look at it from that logical perspective. Peter Musamane is going to be very difficult, so I'll rule him out. I think Eric Tinkler, 1996 African Cup of Nations winner as a player, did well in Cape Town City, top 3 MTN 8 winner as well. He did well. He's had an up and down career, saved Maritzburg United from relegation, but he got fired by Maritzburg United earlier this season. However, he's the only one who's come out and said he's availing himself. Probably as a caretaker, he could be good. And then in October, at the end of the qualifiers, then maybe we'll have a different coach altogether from that point after he's taken us through the qualifiers. Or maybe he could be rewarded with a job because he would have taken us to the World Cup if a miracle happens. So those are the options, and that is the context as well with which we should think of when we think about the next coach for Bafana Bafana.
TTM confirmed the appointment of Englishman Darren Kay as their head coach. The Englishman has had an advisory role at the team since back in February. On the African continent, Kay has coached Simba FC, Gor Mahia, Black Leopards and Baroka FC, but it was reported at some point that he had left the Polokwane side due to disputes concerning his contract. But it appears it's all smooth sailing now, as he has signed a contract and the team is trying to register him with SAFA and the Ministry of Home Affairs so that he takes up the permanent coaching spot. Do you think this appointment will help the side, or is it just another chaotic event? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on to Bafana Bafana. Rumors are that SAFA is looking to approach two-time AFCON winning coach Harve Renard. On his resume, he has 1 COSAFA Cup and 2 AFCON trophies. He has managed 13 teams, and of those 4 were African nations. He's the current coach of the Saudi Arabia national team, and for his club career, he has coached Lille and many other French league teams. And in Africa, he had a stint with USM Algiers. With such a resume, it's evident that SAFA is looking to engage an experienced coach of the African game. Though Renard doesn't come cheap, with a rumored salary of 150,000 euros a month for the Saudi Arabia team, the statement issued by SAFA that money will not be an issue will be pushed to its limit. Is Renard the coach Bafana Bafana needs, or are the players to blame for missing next year's AFCON tournament? Let us know in the comments below. If we had $1 for every time Gavin Hunt's name came up when Bafana Bafana had a vacancy, we would be millionaires. Once again, fans are calling that he be given a chance with the national team. The 56-year-old sat down with Kickoff magazine and stated his position on the rumors, and he said, "How many times have we been down this road? It is nowhere near my thoughts. My mind is on Whiteboarded on Saturday. That's the most important game." It should be noted that Gavin Hunt has previously admitted that the Chiefs job has been his dream job since the start of his coaching career. He got the Chiefs job after winning PSL titles on 4 different occasions, 3 times with SuperSport United and once with Beat. Do you think Gavin Hunt can leave his dream job for the stress-filled Bafana Bafana job, or do you think he's not good enough because of the rough time he's having with Chiefs? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this video, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the page. This will help us, and it will help you be part of the transfer news movement. And now, some news from Golden Arrows. Ngosinati CVC is set to move to Gauteng. Sources state that he's been eyed by champions-elect Mamelodi Sundowns. This 25-year-old defender has 19 appearances for his team this season and has a versatile range of defensive talent. He has appeared at left centre-back, right centre-back, and a brief stint at the right-back row. Such ability is why Sundowns are seeking his services. This move has been held by some as a great opportunity for this player to get a national team co-op, as playing in Gauteng appears to be more favourable for such. Seeing the Sundowns has not lost since January in all competitions, is this buy a waste of money or a much needed addition to the team? Let us know in the comments below. If you're enjoying this content, a sub to this page would be highly appreciated. Remember, we drop 2 PSL transfer and news videos weekly, so don't be left out. And finally, we move on to Brighton. Percy Tau could be one of 9 players who are set to leave Brighton. According to 442, other players include Shane Duffy, Matty Ryan, Chris Walton, and Bernardo, among others. Percy Tau's Brighton contract is set to expire in June 2022, and after a number of loan moves, Tau made his maiden Premier League appearance against Manchester City, which was impressive. And after that, it's been a few substitute appearances. Ever since a 1-0 win against Leeds, he has not featured for the English club in the EPL, but he has remained in the matchday squad, which on most days angers his loyal South African fans who wish to see him play every weekend. An in-depth look at his statistics at the Seagulls is that he has had 5 appearances, 2 in the Premier League and 3 in the FA Cup. Further, he has been an unused sub 9 times, and from the above, he has had no goal nor assist. Do you think he should leave the Seagulls and look for greener pasture, or should he stay and fight for his place and hope his contract will be extended? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for staying to the end, and remember to like and subscribe, and see you this Friday for our next Afrik football video.